Okay, so what we've seen so far is different kind of tile pieces to make up the dungeon, and the variety we can achieve with rooms. Well, the next thing we're going to look at then is props, and props are basically used to create variety in the kind of dungeon area itself. So I thought the first props we'd look at here is the ones I've been working on the last few days. And again, these aren't complete, so hopefully as the diary goes on you'll see kind of more and more progression of these. But you can see here we've got our first one here, which is TA Foliage Fern 1. And if we just have a quick look at this, what we have is some leaves, kind of hanging ivy kind of attached to a fern. If we look at the next one, we've got a similar thing, only we've got more of the ivy and no fern. And in this one here, same thing again, just more ivy. We've got different placement for the different ferns. And then over here we've got the first kind of try, which I'm still not quite happy with, but this is supposed to be something that's kind of grown from the ground up. It has like flowers on it as well. Obviously it's very important when you're working with stuff like this to actually, because I'm never going to see it from down here or from like over here. The viewport is very much like kind of high up isometric, so this is the kind of area we're going to be viewing it from. So whenever you're making like props like this, you want to be making sure you're working in a kind of suitable view. So the aim is to have maybe like 5 different bits of ivy, 5 different ferns, 5 different of this kind of growing vine stuff, and maybe another type as well. And these can be kind of randomly generated on tile pieces. So obviously if our default tile piece looks like this, but then we add, say, even just like that, there you go, you already have kind of big variety in your tile pieces, and maybe the next one would have that on it. So you can see there that's already generating nice variety in our main kind of corridor piece. So one thing we wanted to do was avoid any kind of metal in the scene. So we made a kind of conscious decision early on to just have stone, wood and foliage, so nothing kind of beyond that era. So just to show you some of the wood stuff that we've been working on. What we can see here is like different kind of wood thingies that can sit above the player and create that nice kind of sense of perspective. So just some slight variety in that. We were thinking as well that maybe you can place traps on these as well. We're also thinking like different types of scaffolding as well. So if we just stick this onto here like that, then you could even maybe have kind of 2 generated at once. And this is the great thing about this, because we have them in different categories. We could actually also have kind of foliage appearing on the tile piece as well. So you could end up with maybe not something quite that manic, but let's just move this out of the way. Stick this on there. So you could end up with something like that, where you've got foliage kind of generated with a kind of wood piece as well, to give you kind of loads of different variety going on here. Just to show you some other props, we've also got things which aren't as complete as these, but things like your bog standard crate, also things like pillars that can be placed in large areas where there's no walls and things. We've got a torch as well, which obviously has a light source applied to it in Unity. So you can see here I haven't quite fixed the alpha yet, so still getting that edge around there. and you know, loads of different random things, to be honest. Candles as well, for kind of different kind of light, and always kind of sticking with this kind of nice chunky model aspect to it, mainly because that will be really kind of nice and obvious in on a mobile platform, but also just because it looks cool. So some of the other little things that we've been working on recently, so just kind of making some kind of slightly larger props that can fill up kind of large areas of the scene. I'm not sure why this isn't displaying the textures, but you can soon fix that. And there we go, so we've got like a well type asset that we're going to use later on. So this is obviously like a larger prop. So just to show you, this doesn't have all of those in there at the moment in game, but you can at least see some of the varieties. So we've got fern generated, scaffolding there, foliage there, and these are going to be random kind of those crates you saw once they're actually made. They'll be a little bit bigger as well, obviously. So yeah, you can see we're not even using everything that we've made so far as well, and it's still got a long way to go. But you can see the kind of variety that can be generated with this kind of thing. We did use that. Oh, there's one there. So you can see that they are being used as well, kind of wooden things, and these actually work really nicely. I think they're the nicest things so far, but for some reason,
okay, welcome to another development.
I'm not quite sure why they're not being generated. Like literally, when I was playing this earlier on today, there was maybe like one every 2 tiles, but without even changing anything, there doesn't seem to be any now. So yeah, it's an odd one, that, but you know, that's not my job. I don't know about that kind of stuff. I just do the art. So there's one. So you can see that kind of thing works really well. So long as you don't hinder the visibility for the player too often, having those things that create that sense of perspective work really nicely.